The Diary of a CEO Summary, inspired by the 33 Laws of Business and Life, based on Steven Bartlett's framework of 4 pillars: the self, the story, the philosophy, and the team, which organize the 33 laws explored throughout the book. There comes a moment in every person's life when the noise finally fades. The applause, the expectations, the endless race against strangers. And when the noise finally disappears, one question remains: how do I become successful? But who must I become so that success has no choice but to follow? Because the truth is this: great companies are not built from business plans, great lives are not built from motivational quotes, and great leaders are not created by titles. They are forged through something far deeper: a philosophy, a story, a team, and above all, the mastery of self. Stephen Bartlett organizes this journey into 4 great pillars: the self, the story, the philosophy, and the team, arguing that enduring greatness begins with inner mastery, compelling narratives, guiding principles, and the people we choose to build with. We walk through those 4 pillars, not as students reading a business manual, but as travelers searching for a map. Because perhaps the greatest realization of adulthood is this: nobody is coming to hand you the answers. You must build them yourself. Part 1: The Self. Every empire begins with an invisible kingdom, the kingdom within. The world teaches us to chase money, status, recognition, followers. But long before any of those things arrive, there is another task: fill your buckets. Knowledge, skill, relationships, resources, reputation, and understand the sacred order in which they must be filled. The book presents these 5 interconnected foundations as knowledge, skills, network, resources, and reputation, arguing that the first 2 create the basis for everything else. Modern society celebrates the 4th bucket, money. Social media worships the 5th, reputation. But history rewards the first 2, what you know and what you can do. Because an economic crash can erase wealth, a scandal can destroy reputation, a company can disappear overnight. But knowledge travels with you. Skill remains in your hands. The earthquake may destroy your house, but it cannot steal the craftsman within. The book explicitly argues that professional crises can remove resources, networks, or reputation, but not knowledge and skills. And so, the first lesson of greatness is patience. Plant roots before reaching for fruit. Build foundations before decorating ceilings. Learn before demanding rewards. The world often mistakes speed for progress. But the oak tree that survives 100 storms grows slowly. The weeds grow fast. The giants grow deep. Then comes another paradox. If you truly want to master something, teach it. Not after 30 years. Not after becoming an expert. Now, because the moment you promise to explain an idea to another human being, your relationship with knowledge changes forever. The book emphasizes that creating an obligation to teach accelerates mastery and understanding. You stop consuming information. You begin wrestling with it. You simplify it. You organize it. You test it against reality. The teacher and the student become the same person. Perhaps this is why some people read hundreds of books yet remain unchanged, while others write 1 page a day, share 1 lesson online, explain 1 concept to a friend, and transform their lives. Knowledge enters through curiosity, but mastery arrives through responsibility. Give yourself skin in the game, create consequences, make promises, build accountability. Because humans fear losing far more than they desire winning, and sometimes the secret to discipline isn't motivation. It's simply making retreat more painful than progress. But perhaps the greatest battle is not against ignorance. It is against the stories we tell ourselves. Every human being carries an internal narrator, a voice that whispers, "This is who you are. This is what people like you do. This is as far as you can go." The tragedy? Most people inherit that voice from parents, from schools, from society, from failures, and then spend their entire lives obeying it. But greatness requires authorship. You must rewrite your own mythology, not through fantasy, not through denial, but through evidence. One courageous action at a time. Because identity is built backward. We become what we repeatedly prove to ourselves. And when your inner story changes, your outer world follows. Part 2, the story. If the first pillar asks who you are, the second asks how the world will remember you. Human beings are storytelling creatures. We do not merely consume facts, we consume meaning. We do not buy products, we buy identities. We do not follow leaders, we follow narratives. A powerful story can move millions, a spreadsheet cannot. And so the modern battlefield is not fought only with technology. It is fought with attention, with emotion, with memory, with symbols. The companies that dominate our lives understand this. Apple never sold computers. They sold rebellion. Nike never sold shoes. They sold human potential. Tesla never sold electric vehicles. They sold the future. People rarely remember practical details. They remember moments, the unusual, the unexpected, the strange thing, the unforgettable thing. And perhaps that's one of life's cruel jokes. The very qualities that make you feel different may become the reason people remember you. The thing you hide today may become your greatest advantage tomorrow. Because in a world drowning in sameness, difference is currency. The greatest danger isn't failure, it is invisibility, being wallpaper, present but unnoticed, existing but unforgettable. So dare to stand somewhere, dare to hold convictions, dare to create work that some people dislike. Because if nobody disagrees with you, nobody truly notices you either. The middle of the road is crowded, the edges are where movements begin. And then comes another truth that marketers, politicians, and artists have always understood. The frame matters more than the picture. Two people can witness the same event and leave with opposite conclusions. Not because reality changed, but because interpretation did. The human mind never sees the world directly. It sees stories about the world. And therefore, leadership is not merely presenting facts, it is creating meaning. This is why the first few seconds matter, the first impression, the first sentence, the first image, the first emotion. Because the brain is constantly asking, is this relevant? Is this important? Should I care? And if you lose that battle, nothing that follows matters. Every great communicator understands this. Capture attention, create emotion, deliver meaning, then invite transformation, not command it. Invite it because people do not want to be sold. They want to discover. They want ownership. They want participation. Let them try. Let them experience. Let them arrive at the conclusion themselves. The most powerful persuasion rarely feels like persuasion at all. It feels like realization. Part 3, the philosophy. Now we enter deeper waters, beyond tactics, beyond storytelling, into belief itself. Because your philosophy determines your future long before your circumstances do. The book argues that beliefs and philosophies strongly predict behavior and ultimately shape greatness. What you believe about suffering, about discipline, about failure, about responsibility, those beliefs become your destiny. Two people encounter the same obstacle. One sees proof to stop, the other sees proof to continue. The mountain is identical. Only philosophy differs, and philosophy changes everything. The world tells us to avoid failure, but greatness often demands the opposite. Outfail everyone, attempt more, risk more, learn faster. Because failure is not the opposite of progress. It is progress wearing work clothes. The inventor who conducts 1,000 experiments is not losing. They are eliminating impossibilities. The athlete who misses 1,000 shots is not failing. They are purchasing precision. The entrepreneur who launches 10 ideas to find one breakthrough is not wasting time. They are building wisdom. Wisdom is expensive. Everyone wants the treasure. Few want to pay the price. Then comes perhaps one of the most dangerous myths in modern culture. Always have a backup plan. It sounds responsible, logical, safe. But sometimes the existence of plan B quietly weakens plan A. Because the human mind protects escape routes. Burning the ships has always been terrifying. Yet, throughout history, it has also created extraordinary commitment. When retreat disappears, ingenuity emerges, necessity sharpens creativity, and hidden reserves awaken. Of course, this isn't recklessness, it is conviction, the understanding that extraordinary outcomes rarely emerge from divided commitment. Then there is pressure, the thing we spend our lives trying to avoid: deadlines, expectations, responsibility. Yet, what if pressure is not punishment? What if pressure is privilege? Only those entrusted with something meaningful feel its weight. Pressure means somebody believes in your capacity. Pressure means your actions matter. Pressure means you have entered an arena worth fighting in. The mountain climber feels pressure because the summit exists. The parent feels pressure because love exists. The entrepreneur feels pressure because possibility exists. Without pressure, there is no significance. And perhaps that realization changes everything. Because then the question becomes, why is this happening to me? But what incredible opportunity has placed this responsibility upon my shoulders? Then comes mortality, the great equalizer, death, the clock nobody can negotiate with, the silent companion walking beside every dream. Many avoid thinking about death, but maybe remembering death is precisely what makes life vivid. Time gains value because it ends. Discipline gains urgency because opportunity expires. And suddenly, procrastination appears for what it truly is: a misunderstanding of existence. You are not killing time, time is killing itself. And one day, it will run out. So build, create, love, risk, learn, begin. Today. Part 4. The teen no monument was built alone. No civilization, no company, no movement, no revolution. The myth of the lone genius comforts us, but reality tells a different story. Everything meaningful is collaborative. The greatest skill in life may not be knowing how, it may be knowing who. Who shares your values? Who multiplies your strengths? Who challenges your blind spots? Who brings energy rather than extracting it? The right people change everything. And culture. Culture is simply what people repeatedly permit, celebrate, and protect. It is invisible until it becomes undeniable. Strong cultures create belonging. Weak cultures create transactions. The greatest organizations in history were never united merely by salaries. They were united by belief, by mission, by identity, by meaning. People long to belong to something larger than themselves, to participate in a story worth telling, to wake up and know that their effort matters. This is why great leaders become gardeners rather than commanders. They create environments, they remove obstacles, they nurture growth, and they understand a profound truth: progress motivates, not perfection. Progress. A tiny step forward can sustain hope longer than grand promises ever could. Human beings are astonishingly resilient when movement exists. But stagnation kills dreams. So celebrate small victories, recognize momentum, honor improvement. Because greatness is rarely explosive, it is cumulative, brick upon brick, day after day, choice after choice. And leadership itself? Leadership demands paradox, consistency of values, flexibility of methods. The world changes, technology changes, people change. The leader who refuses adaptation becomes a monument to yesterday. The leader who abandons principles becomes lost. The art lies between those extremes. Hold tightly to purpose, hold loosely to process, know what must never change, and know what absolutely must. Finally, there is one law that transcends all others: learning never ends. The moment you believe you have arrived, you begin to decline. Curiosity is not a childhood trait, it is a survival mechanism. The beginner's mind sees opportunities invisible to experts imprisoned by certainty. The greatest leaders remain students. The greatest teachers remain learners. The greatest companies remain experimental. Because the universe rewards adaptation and punishes arrogance. Every sunrise asks the same question. What are you willing to learn today? The final reflection. And so we return to where we began. Success. That mysterious word humanity has chased for centuries. We imagined it lived in money, in titles, in applause. But perhaps success is something far quieter. Perhaps success is becoming the kind of person who can be trusted with greater responsibility. Perhaps success is filling your buckets in the right order. Learning before earning, serving before leading, growing before demanding recognition. The book repeatedly emphasizes beginning with knowledge and skills as the foundation upon which networks, resources, and reputation are built. Perhaps success is mastering yourself, telling better stories, living by stronger philosophies, and surrounding yourself with remarkable people. The four pillars: the self, the story, the philosophy, the team, not separate ideas, but interconnected forces. Remove one, and the structure weakens. Strengthen all four, and ordinary lives become extraordinary. The beautiful truth is this: you do not need permission. You do not need perfect timing. You do not need universal approval. You need only the willingness to begin, to learn, to teach, to build, to fail, to adapt, and to continue walking long after others have stopped. Because history rarely remembers those who waited. It remembers those who created, those who believed, those who acted despite uncertainty, those who understood that greatness is not an event. It is a practice, a daily decision, a quiet commitment made again and again. So tonight, ask yourself, which bucket needs filling? Which story needs rewriting? Which philosophy needs challenging? Which people deserve a place in your journey? And then, take one step. Just one. Because every empire, every movement, every extraordinary life began exactly there, with a single step into the unknown and someone brave enough to keep going.